The bright sterile lights above hummed softly in the alien medical room. Zara, an experienced nurse from the planet Sephoria, adjusted the instruments around her with calm precision. The walls of the medical bay were a soft shade of blue, pulsating gently, much like the atmosphere of her home planet. As an alien nurse, she had treated hundreds of patients from different galaxies and species, yet today felt different. Today, she was assigned a human patient. The human, Captain Lucas, lay unconscious on the medical bed. His body was covered in burns, scratches, and bruises from the violent crash of his ship on a foreign planet. It was clear that the crash had left him in a delicate state, but his injuries, while severe, were not the most puzzling aspect of his condition. Zara stood by his side, adjusting her medical visor to scan his vitals. She had been trained in many alien species' medical conditions. But humans... Humans were a mystery to her. Their biology was so different from anything she had encountered before. They were fragile, yet resilient in ways that defied logic. Their bodies were able to withstand the harshest environments. Yet their immune systems seemed so much more vulnerable than any other species she had treated. She let out a soft breath, staring at the readings on the display. His vitals were stable, but there was something off about the data. A strange pattern was emerging. There was a spike in his temperature, not too alarming, but unusual for a patient in his condition. Zara thought nothing of it at first, attributing it to the stress of his injuries. But then, her instruments began to show something even stranger. Zara adjusted the settings on her medical scanner, setting it to analyze the specific areas of Lucas's body that had suffered the most damage. As the scan completed, her heart skipped a beat. The readings weren't what she expected. It was coming from a very unusual place, the lower abdomen. The data wasn't showing any major injuries, but the scanner displayed an anomaly. It looked like swelling, but not the kind of swelling she had seen before. It was deeper, more internal. The most bizarre part, the inflammation seemed to be moving as if it were alive. Zara leaned closer to the screen, frowning. She ran the scan again, but the results were the same. She even tried different settings, trying to adjust for any possible error in the machine. But the inflammation remained. Her mind raced. Could this be some kind of infection? But why was it localized to such an odd area of the body? As far as Zara knew, there was no known disease or condition in any species that behaved like this. Zara quickly moved to the patient's side, gently lifting the edge of his hospital gown. Her fingers brushed the area where the inflammation was most concentrated. As she touched it, she felt a strange pulse under her fingertips. It was unlike anything she had felt before. It was warm, almost too warm, and there was an odd tingling sensation. It's like a faint vibration. She stepped back, confusion flooding her mind. What was going on with this human? She had seen her share of unusual injuries and diseases, but nothing like this. As she thought about the possible causes, her attention was drawn to the medical log on the wall. It was written in her species language, detailing all the information she had about Captain Lucas's injuries. Zara's eyes scanned through the log, reading about the human's last mission, her survival in hostile conditions, and his escape from a shipwreck. He had been alone on a barren planet for days before being found by the Zephyrian rescue team. But nowhere in the records did it mention anything about this anomaly. Zara took a deep breath and decided to try one more scan. This time, she focused entirely on the lower abdomen, using a specialized device designed for deep tissue analysis. The machine whirred as it worked, sending out waves of energy into Lucas's body. For a moment, nothing seemed to change. Then, the scanner beeped loudly, flashing with new data. Zara's eyes widened as she read the results. The inflammation was not just a physical swelling. It appeared to be something else. There was a strange energy signature emanating from the area, something that couldn't be explained by any known medical condition. The pattern was unlike anything she had seen before. It was almost as if the human's body was reacting to something that shouldn't be there, something foreign yet integrated within him. But what was it? Was it some kind of mutation, a virus, or perhaps something far more dangerous? Zara felt a chill run down her spine as she considered the possibilities. Whatever this was, it was unlike anything she had ever encountered. The inflammation could not be treated in the usual way. It required something far more specific. But what? She thought about it. Captain Lucas's body shifted on the bed, a low groan escaping his lips. Zara's heart raced. She quickly stepped back, hoping to have more time to figure out what was happening, but she knew that time was running out. If this was something dangerous, she needed to act quickly. The human's eyes fluttered open, and for a moment, he simply stared at her, disoriented. He looked confused, as if he wasn't sure where he was or what had happened. Zara could see the exhaustion in his eyes, but there was something else too, a flicker of fear or perhaps curiosity as he glanced down. At his body, where the strange inflammation was still growing. "Captain Lucas," Zara said softly, her voice calm yet filled with uncertainty. "Can you hear me?" Lucas blinked, his voice hoarse. "What happened? Where am I?" Zara hesitated, her gaze flickering to the strange swelling between his legs. This was only the beginning. Zara had no idea where it would lead. Captain Lucas's eyes darted around the sterile medical bay, his mind foggy and disoriented. He could barely remember how he ended up here, but he knew one thing for sure. He was in no shape to be awake. The pain in his body, especially in his lower abdomen, sent jolts of discomfort through him. He felt warm, too warm, and not in a way he understood. The skin around his midsection seemed to burn, but not from any visible injury. Zara, standing at his side, was busy adjusting the scanner, her hands moving quickly over the interface. Her alien eyes never left the readouts, her focus sharp and unwavering. She had been here before treating beings from all corners of the galaxy. Yet this human, with his strange anatomy and inexplicable symptoms, presented an entirely new challenge. "Captain, I need you to stay calm," Zara said, her voice gentle yet authoritative. "You've been severely injured, but you're safe. Now." Lucas slowly turned his head towards her, the sharpness of her voice grounding him momentarily. His vision blurred, but he could see that the nurse standing beside him wasn't like any medical practitioner he had ever encountered. Her skin shimmered faintly, her features smooth and almost too perfect. Her eyes an intense shade of blue that made him feel as though she could see straight through him. I don't understand," Lucas muttered, trying to push himself upright but collapsing back against the soft medical bed. "What's happening to me? Why does it feel like my body is on fire?" Zara didn't respond immediately. She was already focused on the scanner, reading the data that was still flashing across the screen. Her mind raced through the possibilities. Human biology was so different from any species she had ever treated. She had read the data, she had studied it, but this was something beyond her comprehension. "Your body is reacting in ways that are not typical," Zara said, her voice quiet. She placed a hand gently on his shoulder to keep him from moving too much. "The inflammation I detected, it's not caused by any external injury, nor is it something we have encountered." Before, Lucas blinked, trying to process her words. "Inflammation? What do you mean?" The words inflammation felt strange, even alien to him, considering he had only felt the heat intensify in his lower abdomen. He glanced down at his body, but there was nothing visible on the surface, no cuts, no bruises, just the overwhelming sense of heat radiating from within. Felt as though something was shifting under his skin. Zara's gaze remained fixed on the display, her brow furrowed in concentration. As the scan ran again, she noticed the same readings, and this time, a clearer image began to form. The inflammation wasn't just swelling. It was as if the internal structures of his body were altering themselves, reacting to something deep within his cells. She felt a rush of urgency. This wasn't just a biological anomaly. It was something entirely new and perhaps something far more dangerous. "I'm going to run a deeper scan," Zara murmured, more to herself than to Lucas. "Stay still. I need to know what we're dealing with." Lucas nodded weakly, his mind still spinning. He wanted to ask what was happening, but the intensity of the heat in his lower body made it hard to focus on anything else. The feeling was maddening. Every second it grew worse, and he could feel the tension rising, like something was about to snap inside him. Zara applied a series of scans designed for internal tissue analysis. The machine emitted a soft hum, its energies vibrating the air around them. As the scans continued, Lucas felt the sensation in his abdomen intensify, a crawling, pulsing heat that seemed to thrum in time with his heartbeat. His breath quickened as the discomfort deepened. Zara watched in silence as the results came in. Her eyes widened as the scan revealed something impossible within Lucas's body. At the site of the inflammation, a network of tiny energy currents was forming. It looked like a complex system of nerves and energy, pulsating like an electrical storm. This wasn't just inflammation. It was a biological reaction she had never seen before, mutation of some kind, but with elements of energy that went beyond mere biology. Something inside him was changing, almost as though his cells were evolving, adapting in real time. Zara's mind raced. Could this be a natural biological evolution? A human adaptation she didn't know about? Or something triggered by the harsh conditions Lucas had survived on the barren planet? Was it possible that the human body could alter itself so drastically in such a short time? Her focus shifted between the scan and Lucas, who was now visibly shaking from the discomfort. He could feel the pulse intensifying. The heat wasn't just coming from his body anymore. It was beginning to emanate from the area like a beacon. He could see the alien nurse's worry, but he couldn't make sense of what was happening to him. "Zara," Lucas said through clenched teeth, his voice strained. "What's going on? What's happening to me?" Zara paused, struggling to find the right words. "I don't know yet, Captain. But you're not just suffering from injury, your body is undergoing something unprecedented. The inflammation is not a disease or infection. It's something else. Something that is happening deep within your cells." She gently touched the area near his abdomen, feeling the strange energy pulse through him. Her fingers recoiled slightly from the intensity, but she held herself steady. Zara's thoughts began to race. She knew the implications of what was unfolding. If what she was seeing was accurate, Lucas's body was about to reveal a power he or any human didn't yet understand. She just hoped they would be able to control it before it spiraled out of control. "I need you to stay calm," Zara said. "Whatever this is, we're going to figure it out. But I must warn you, this may not be something we can stop." Lucas's eyes widened in fear. "What do you mean, not something we can stop?" Zara looked at him, her voice unwavering, but filled with uncertainty. "I don't know, but we're going to find out." And with that, the mystery of the inflammation continued, its origin and purpose yet to be discovered. The air in the medical bay was thick with tension, the strange hum of the machines a constant reminder of the unknown. Lucas's breath came in short bursts, his chest rising and falling rapidly with each exhale. The sensation in his abdomen had become unbearable. It wasn't pain, not exactly, but an overwhelming pressure, a tightness, as though his insides were being rearranged by some unseen force. He clutched at the sheets, unable to control the trembling that had taken over his body. Zara stood by the scanner, her face illuminated by the glow of the readouts. Her alien eyes were wide, her thoughts racing. The first time in her extensive medical career, she was completely unsure of what to do. The inflammation, if that's what it could still be called, was growing, spreading, shifting inside Lucas's body like something alive. She had seen alien mutations before, but this was beyond anything she could have imagined. "Zara, what's happening to me?" Lucas gasped, his voice strained with confusion and fear. "Why does it feel like I'm changing?" Zara's gaze flicked to him, her usually calm demeanor faltering for a moment. She didn't have an answer. The readings she was seeing on the display were impossible. The inflammation wasn't just swelling, it was actively transforming his biology, altering the way his cells interacted with one another. It was like the body was rewriting its own code. Zara glanced at the monitor once more, her hand hovering over the controls, unsure whether to continue scanning or to stop. The fluctuations in the data were so unpredictable. Every time she ran a new test, the inflammation reacted in new ways. It was as if it were learning from the scans, adapting to whatever she threw at it. She took a deep breath, focusing her attention on Lucas. He was still shaking, beads of sweat dotting his forehead. His eyes were wide, desperate for answers, but Zara had none to offer. "Zara, please," Lucas begged, his voice barely above a whisper. "Tell me what's happening to me. What did you find?" Zara hesitated. It's not just inflammation," she said slowly, choosing her words carefully. "What's happening to you, Captain, is something I've never seen before. It's not a disease. It's not an infection. Your body is undergoing a transformation." Lucas blinked, his mind struggling to process her words. "A transformation? But I'm not." He stopped mid-sentence, his thoughts derailed by a sudden, sharp pulse from his lower abdomen. Gasped, clutching at the sheets harder. The sensation was becoming unbearable. It wasn't just a physical change anymore. Something was stirring deep within him. Something foreign, something powerful. Zara watched him carefully. The changes weren't just physical. Lucas was beginning to experience something far more complex. His nervous system was shifting. His muscles were reacting in unnatural ways, twitching as if responding to commands from a source that didn't exist. It was as though his body was being pushed beyond its natural limits. "Captain, stay still." "I need to scan deeper," Zara said, but her voice trembled with uncertainty. She wasn't sure what she would find, and even less sure of what to do with it. Lucas nodded weakly, but his body was rebelling against him. The heat in his abdomen intensified, and now it was radiating outward, causing his entire body to feel like it was overheating. His skin flushed, the sensation so overwhelming that it felt like his body was on the verge of combustion. Zara quickly activated the deep tissue scanner, hoping it would give her more insight into what was happening. As the machine hummed to life, she focused on the scans. The images flickered on the screen, and Zara's eyes widened in disbelief. It wasn't just inflammation. Energy signature coming from his body was like nothing she had ever encountered before. His cells were reacting to something deep inside him, something that was not part of normal human biology. They were being flooded with a foreign energy, an unknown force that was causing the transformation. But where was it coming from? Then, as if responding to the scan itself, a new pattern emerged. The energy signature pulsed, becoming stronger and more defined. It was like a heartbeat, but not his. It was something outside of him. Something that had attached itself to his biology and was now becoming an integral part of him. Zara. Lucas's voice was hoarse, strained. "It's inside me, isn't it? Whatever it is, it's in my body now." Zara's mind raced. She had no idea how to explain what was happening to him. She was trained in medical theory, in anatomy, in physiology, but nothing in her training had prepared her for this. This was beyond her understanding. "I don't know what it is, Captain, but whatever it is, it's fusing with your biology. It's making you stronger. Your body is evolving in response to it." At that moment, the energy inside Lucas surged violently. He could feel it in every fiber of his being, a rush of power, raw and uncontainable, flooding through his veins. His muscles tensed, and the pain, which had been constant, suddenly gave way to something else. He felt alive in a way he had never felt before, as if his body was breaking free of its limits, tearing down the walls of his physical form. "I can feel it," Lucas whispered, his voice filled with awe and fear. "It's like something's waking up inside me. I've never felt anything like this." "Yes." Zara stood back, her eyes glued to the readings. She could see the changes now, clear as day. Lucas's body was adapting, but it wasn't just healing, it was transforming. His DNA was shifting, aligning itself with whatever strange energy had entered his body. And with each passing second, the change was accelerating. Zara's mind spun with the possibilities. Was this an evolutionary leap? A new form of human power? She didn't know, but she had to stop it before it got out of control. This transformation, "It's not just happening to your body," Zara said, her voice trembling with urgency. "It's altering your very essence. Your biology is merging with this unknown force. And if we don't stop it, you could lose yourself entirely." Lucas's eyes locked onto hers, fear evident in his gaze. "Stop it. How do we stop something like this?" Zara took a deep breath. I don't know, but we're running out of time. And with that, the shock of what was happening to Lucas had only just begun. What had started as an injury was now something far more dangerous. The inflammation was no longer just a symptom, it was the beginning of a transformation that would change everything. Zara's hands trembled as she hovered over the control panel, her mind racing with the implications of what she was witnessing. The energy inside Lucas was continuing to surge, flowing through his veins like an unstoppable current. His body was no longer just reacting to it, it was embracing it. She could see the changes happening beneath his skin, the very fibers of his muscles twisting and flexing. In response to the unknown force that had taken root inside him, Lucas was silent. His eyes closed tightly as though he were bracing himself against the torrent of sensations rushing through him. His breath came in shallow gasps, each inhale a struggle. But there was something else in his expression, something beyond the pain. His face, though tense, had a look of fascination, as if he was both terrified and awestruck by the power stirring within him. What's happening to me, Zara? Lucas asked again, his voice strained yet laced with a note of wonder. What is this? Why can't I control it? Zara's gaze shifted to the scanner where the data was now displaying readings she could barely comprehend. The inflammation had spread far beyond its original site. It was no longer just a localized issue, it was enveloping his entire body, influencing his cells, his nervous system, his very essence. She could no longer deny it. This wasn't just a biological reaction. This was something far more profound. There's more to this than I thought. Captain, she said quietly, her voice thick with a sense of awe. This energy, it's not just making you stronger. It's altering your genetic makeup. It's changing UDBD down at a molecular level. Lucas opened his eyes, meeting hers. Changing me? How? Zara's mind raced as she processed the data. The energy signature emanating from his body was like a powerful current, one that seemed to defy all known laws of biology. It was as though the energy was rewriting his DNA, introducing something foreign yet compatible with human biology. She had seen species evolve over millennia, adapting to their environments. But this was different. It was happening in real time, within a matter of hours. This isn't just an adaptation, Zara continued, her voice barely above a whisper. It's a mutation, a rapid evolution. Yes. Lucas's heart skipped a beat. Mutation, you mean? I'm changing into something else. Something not human. Zara swallowed hard, her gaze flicking to the scanner again. She wanted to believe it was just an anomaly, a freak occurrence that would eventually resolve itself, but the data didn't lie. The inflammation was not just a symptom, it was the catalyst for something far greater. Your biology is integrating. With this unknown energy, she explained, struggling to find the right words. It's as if your body is evolving. It's faster than any human ever could. Your cells are absorbing it, adapting to it. And with each passing minute, it's making you more powerful. The words hung in the air like a dark cloud, heavy with the weight of their implications. Lucas felt the gravity of what she was saying, but the overwhelming sensation in his body made it difficult to focus on anything else. It felt like every part of him was on fire, his muscles tightening and loosening. In waves, his skin prickling with electricity. I don't feel like myself anymore, Lucas said, his voice strained. It's like there's something inside me, something I can't control. I don't know if it's making me stronger, or if it's turning me into something else. Zara bit her lip, her mind swirling. There was no doubt in her mind now. Lucas wasn't just dealing with a strange injury. He was experiencing something unprecedented, something that had never been documented in any species, human or otherwise.
Ace.
She knew, deep down, that this wasn't just about his survival anymore. It was about something far bigger, something that could alter the course of human evolution forever. There's something about this energy, she said, her voice quieter now as if the words themselves were too heavy to say aloud. Not just changing your biology, it's merging with you. It's becoming a part of you, and you're becoming a part of it. Lucas's chest tightened as he processed her words. Merging with me? So what does that mean? Am I losing myself? Zara hesitated. I don't know, Captain. I don't have enough data to make any conclusions, but I'm beginning to think this energy is more than just a force. It's alive in its own way, capable of adapting, growing, even evolving alongside you. As she spoke, Lucas felt another surge deep within him. This time, it wasn't just physical. It was mental. He could feel his thoughts shifting, becoming clearer in ways that were both exhilarating and terrifying. His senses sharpened. He could hear the hum of the medical equipment with a precision he'd never experienced before. The beating of his heart felt like a rhythmic drum, steady and constant. "Zara," he whispered, his voice unsteady. "I can feel it. It's like I'm seeing everything differently."
My senses are sharper.
Or watched him closely. Fear creeping into her chest. The changes were happening faster now, and with each passing second, Lucas was slipping further from his humanity. Was this energy truly part of him now? Or was it taking him over, slowly erasing who he had been? "I think you're beginning to merge with it," she said, more to herself than to Lucas. "This energy is taking root in your very being. It's reshaping your mind, your body, maybe even your soul. The question is, will you be able to control it, or will it control you?" Lucas closed his eyes, feeling the strange power that was now coursing through him. He could feel it in every part of his body, an unstoppable force that was changing him, for better or worse. He didn't know what was happening, but one thing was clear: his life would never be the same again. As the transformation continued, one thing became undeniable. Whatever was inside him wasn't just a mutation, it was a power beyond anything Lucas had ever imagined, and it was growing stronger by the second. The air in the medical bay was thick with the tension of uncertainty. The strange energy flowing through Lucas had become a constant presence, like a whisper in his mind, guiding his every thought and action. He could feel it coursing through him, changing him. He'd no longer recognized the man he had been before the crash. His muscles, his senses, even his thoughts, everything felt heightened, sharper. The pain that had once overwhelmed him now felt like an echo of the past, swallowed up by this new force that had taken root inside him. Zara watched him closely, her alien eyes studying every subtle change in his expression, every small movement of his body. She could see the transformation happening in real time. Lucas was no longer the same human she had met hours ago. But what was he becoming? She had been scanning him continuously, gathering data, but each scan only raised more questions. The energy inside Lucas wasn't just biological, it wasn't just a mutation or a biological anomaly. It was something more, a force that defied all understanding, something she had never encountered in her years of medical training. XARA ... Lucas's voice broke through her thoughts, drawing her attention. His gaze was intense, his eyes gleaming with an unnatural clarity. "I need to know what this is. It's happening to me. Is this something I can stop?" Zara swallowed hard, unsure of how to answer. She had seen species evolve, adapt, and mutate in response to environmental changes. But this was something else entirely. The energy Lucas was absorbing wasn't just altering his biology, it was altering his very essence. His DNA was shifting, but it wasn't a random mutation, it was like a symbiosis. An integration between his human form and this unknown force. "I don't know, Captain," she said softly, her voice filled with uncertainty. "What's happening to you is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's not a disease. It's not a typical mutation. It's something otherworldly." Lucas furrowed his brow, feeling a sense of frustration rising within him. "Otherworldly? What do you mean? Are you telling me this energy isn't natural? That it's alien?" Zara nodded slowly, her mind grappling with the complexity of what was unfolding. "Yes, it's alien in a way. But it's not just any kind of alien force. I believe it's connected to something ancient, something that predates even my species' understanding of biology. It's as if this energy has always been part of your DNA, just waiting to be awakened." Lucas sat up a little straighter, despite the overwhelming pressure in his body. His eyes widened as he began to connect the dots. "So you're saying that this power has always been inside me? Inside all humans? And this energy just activated it? Zara hesitated, unsure of how much she should reveal. But as she looked into Lucas's eyes, she realized there was no turning back now. Believe so. But the question remains. Why? Why now? Why you? Lucas clenched his fists, trying to steady the storm of thoughts in his mind. I was just a soldier, a simple human. What makes me so special? Why am I the one this is happening to? Zara walked slowly toward him, her eyes never leaving his. I think this energy was always a part of your species, but it was dormant, buried, deep in your genetic code, hidden away for centuries, perhaps even millennia. What you're experiencing, Lucas, may be the beginning of an awakening. Your body is no longer just reacting to this force, it's aligning itself with it. You're becoming something new. Lucas processed her words, the enormity of the situation slowly sinking in. But if this is a power hidden in my DNA, then why haven't other humans experienced it? Why now? That's what I don't know, Zara admitted, her voice laced with frustration. There's something specific about you, something that triggered the energy inside your body. I suspect it's not just the crash or the environment you were in, there's more to this. It's as if this force has been waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Her words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of the unknown. Zara had seen countless species evolve and adapt, but this was different. This wasn't just an evolutionary leap. This was something intentional, something that was actively shaping Lucas, guiding him toward something far greater than he could have ever imagined. Lucas's mind raced. Was he meant to become something more than human? Was he the key to unlocking a potential that had been dormant for centuries? Before he could speak again, his body surged with an intense wave of energy. It was as if every cell in his body was waking up at once, aligning itself with the force inside him. He gasped, his hands gripping the sides of the medical bed as the power pulsed through him. Zara watched in awe as the energy began to manifest in visible form. It wasn't just inside him anymore, it was radiating outward, like a wave of heat that rippled across the room. His skin seemed to shimmer, his muscles expanding with newfound strength. He could feel it now, the power that had been dormant for so long, finally awakened and ready to be unleashed. Zara. Lucas cried out, his voice filled with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. It's happening again. I can feel it. It's growing stronger. Zara rushed to his side, placing a hand on his arm to steady him. Stay calm, Captain. Need to study this, understand it before it spirals out of control. But as she spoke, she realized just how little she truly understood about what was happening. The energy that was coursing through Lucas wasn't just changing him, it was evolving him to something far beyond human comprehension. This isn't just a transformation, Zara said slowly, her voice barely above a whisper. This is evolution on a scale we've never seen, and it's happening right in front of us. Lucas's eyes flashed with a mixture of fear and excitement. So, this is it. This is who I'm meant to become. Zara looked at him, her expression filled with uncertainty. I don't know, Captain. But one thing is clear. Your life, your species, your entire future. It's all about to change. And as the power inside Lucas surged once more, Zara knew that the path they were on was one that could not be reversed. Whatever this energy was, it was now a part of him. And whatever came next, neither of them were prepared for. The feeling inside Lucas had grown beyond overwhelming. The energy that had surged through his body now flowed through every vein, every cell, every fiber of his being. It was no longer just a sensation, it was a presence, a living force that resonated deep within him, binding itself to his very DNA. His body had become a vessel for something far beyond anything human, something far more ancient. Zara stood at the edge of the bed, her eyes fixed on Lucas, watching the transformation unfold with a mixture of fascination and dread. She'd never seen anything like it. Not in any species. Not even in her most advanced medical studies. Lucas's hands gripped the sides of the bed tighter, his knuckles white. He could feel his body expanding, the muscles tightening and stretching with a strength he had never known. His mind, once clouded with confusion and fear, was now sharp, clear. His senses were hyper-aware, his thoughts running faster than he could process. He could hear every subtle sound in the room, every shift of air, every beat of his heart like a drum echoing. In his chest, he could feel the pulse of the energy like a rhythm he couldn't escape, a rhythm he couldn't control. "I can feel it, Zara." Lucas's voice was strained but steady. "It's like I'm becoming something else, something bigger than I was." Zara stepped forward, her alien eyes reflecting the glow of the energy radiating from his body. "I know, Captain. I can see it too. But what's happening to you, this is no longer just a transformation. It's more than a physical change. It's a complete fusion of your being with this energy." Lucas's chest rose and fell with rapid breaths. He was struggling to understand what was happening to him, but every attempt to process it felt like a futile endeavor. The power, whatever it was, had taken over. He could feel it threading through his thoughts, weaving itself into his consciousness. And in that moment, he knew he wasn't just adapting to the energy. The energy was adapting to him. "I can feel it," Lucas said, his voice breaking with a mixture of awe and terror. "It's inside me, changing me. I'm not just getting stronger, am I? This isn't just about power." Zara nodded slowly, her face grim. "No, Captain, it's not just about power. This energy is more than that. It's becoming part of your very essence. It's merging with your consciousness, your instincts. It's affecting your mind just as much as your body." The truth hung in the air, heavy and undeniable. This wasn't just a biological mutation. It wasn't just a freak accident. This was something more profound, and evolution of body and mind. Lucas was becoming something new. Something that existed beyond the human limitations he had once known. Suddenly, Lucas's body jolted violently. The power inside him surged in a way it never had before, rippling through his muscles and out to the surface of his skin. The room seemed to vibrate with the force emanating from him. Zara stumbled back, her eyes wide in alarm. She could see it now. His very form was being reshaped, redefined, as though the energy was sculpting him into something entirely different. "Zara," Lucas cried out, his voice breaking as the pain intensified. "What's happening to me? What is this?" His entire body shook with the intensity of the transformation, and the alien nurse's heart pounded in her chest. She knew she couldn't stop what was happening to him. She had no idea how to stop it, or even if it could be stopped. The process was irreversible now. The energy had taken root in him, had fused with his human biology. There was no turning back. Lucas closed his eyes, but the sheer weight of what was happening to him overwhelmed him. He could feel himself changing in ways he couldn't explain. It wasn't just the way his muscles grew stronger, the way his senses heightened. No. There was something deeper at play. His mind was changing too. Memories that weren't his own seemed to surface in his mind. Fragmented flashes of alien landscapes and advanced technologies, visions of beings unlike anything he had ever seen before. They whispered to him, urging him to understand something, to embrace the change that was happening to him. His consciousness seemed to stretch, pushing against the boundaries of his human mind. "I can see them," Lucas whispered, his voice shaking. "I see their faces. I hear their thoughts. They're telling me something, Zara." Zara's breath caught in her throat. "What do you mean, Lucas? What are you seeing?" The human's eyes fluttered open, but they were no longer the eyes of the man who had crash-landed on that alien world. They were different. His pupils glowed faintly, an eerie light that seemed to pulse in time with the energy flowing through him. "I'm seeing what they saw," Lucas said, his voice distant. "The ones who... created this energy. I can see their world, their technology, their power. They've been waiting for me." Zara felt a chill run down her spine. The alien energy, this mysterious force that had merged with Lucas's body, wasn't just a biological phenomenon. It was the key to something much larger, a legacy left behind by beings who had transcended the limitations of their own biology. And now it was passing into Lucas. "This isn't just about you, Captain," Zara said, her voice trembling. This energy is a gift, but it's also a burden, a power that could change everything. And it's no longer just your fate that's at stake. This is about the future of humanity. Lucas's hands clenched into fists as the power surged once more, sending waves of electricity through his body. He felt the energy pulsing inside him, calling out to him. His human instincts screamed for him to resist, to hold on to who he was. But the force inside him was too strong. It was taking over, reshaping him in ways he couldn't comprehend. "I can't stop it, can I?" Lucas asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The fear in his tone was unmistakable. "I don't know. How to control it? It's too much." Zara's voice was soft but filled with a hard truth. "You're not just becoming something new, Lucas. You're becoming something greater. And with that comes a responsibility that you can't escape." The transformation was no longer just a physical change, it was a mental and spiritual evolution. And as Lucas's eyes flickered open again, now fully aware of what was happening to him, he realized the consequences of this change were far more profound than he had ever imagined. The power within him was not just a gift, it was a curse. And it was only just beginning to reveal its true nature. The sensation inside Lucas had become overwhelming, an unrelenting tide that seemed to swallow him whole. His body, once human, was now something more, something vast, something infinite. He felt connected to everything around him, every molecule in the room, every breath that he and Zara shared. His senses were so heightened now that he could feel the faint pulse of energy running through the walls of the medical bay, the rhythmic hum of the ship's engines, even the slightest shift in the air. He was aware of everything, all at once. His mind, too, had expanded. Memories and thoughts his own, and those of others flooded his consciousness. It felt like his very identity was dissolving into the fabric of the universe, becoming one with the strange energy that had fused. With him, Zara stood at a distance, watching in awe and fear as Lucas's transformation reached its final stage. His eyes, once full of confusion and uncertainty, now shone with a cold, calculated intensity. He was no longer just the human soldier she had met on that crash site. He was something else entirely. The energy had fully taken root within him. His body had become a vessel. But now, it seemed like something far greater had awoken. There was a calmness to him now, a quiet confidence that radiated from every pore. He no longer seemed afraid of what was happening. He had accepted it, embraced it, but Zara couldn't help but wonder, what would he do with this new power? What did it mean for the future of humanity? Lucas's voice cut through her thoughts, his tone steady but filled with an unfamiliar gravity. "Zara, I know what's happening now. I see it. I understand it. I can feel it. A power. It's a calling." Zara took a cautious step forward. A calling that she didn't understand. She had studied the transformation, witnessed it firsthand, but she still didn't fully grasp the scope of what Lucas had become. Lucas's gaze turned to her, his eyes now glowing faintly with the energy that flowed through his veins. "Power inside me. It's not just about becoming stronger or evolving. It's about awakening something that's been dormant in humanity for eons. Something buried deep in our genes, in our history. I've tapped into it, Zara. I know now what humanity is capable of, what we were always meant to become." Zara's breath caught in her throat as Lucas's words resonated with a chilling finality. She had always believed that her species, the Zephyrians, were the most advanced in the galaxy. But standing before her now was proof that humans, the very species she had once deemed weak and fragile, possessed an untapped potential that could rival, even surpass any other being in the universe. "What are you saying, Captain?" Zara asked, her voice barely a whisper. "What are you really saying?" Lucas smiled, a slow, deliberate curve of his lips, as though he knew something she didn't. "I'm saying that this energy, this force inside me, is only the beginning. It's the key to unlocking the true potential of humanity. And now that it's awakened, it won't stop with me." He paused, as if letting the weight of his words settle in the air between them. "We're at the dawn of something new. A new era for humanity. We were never meant to be just survivors, Zara. We were meant to be evolutionary pioneers. This power, it's not a gift. It's a responsibility. a responsibility to lead, to ascend, and to shape the future of not just Earth, but of every species. In the galaxy, the realization hit Zara like a wave. This wasn't just about Lucas anymore. It was about the future of humanity itself. Lucas had unlocked something that could change everything, every aspect of civilization, every aspect of life. The potential was limitless, but with that potential came danger. If this is true, Zara said carefully, her mind racing, then humanity could be capable of unimaginable power. But with that kind of power comes great risk. You understand what that means, Lucas? Can you control it? Can humanity control it? Lucas's expression softened, the intensity of his gaze flickering with something that could only be described as understanding. I don't know if we can control it, Zara, but I do know this: we have to try. We can't let this power destroy us like it has destroyed others before us. And that's why I have to guide humanity, help them see what they're capable of. I'll be the first to unlock it, but I can't be the last. There will be others, people like me, who will follow. And they'll need a leader. His voice had become steady, unwavering, as though he had already accepted his fate. Lucas knew what was ahead. He could feel it in the energy surging through him, an unshakable certainty that this was his purpose. Zara stared at him, torn between admiration and fear. She saw it now, the potential for greatness, yes, but also the immense danger of it. Lucas was right. This was not a power to be taken lightly. And yet, she couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was stepping into something far bigger than it had ever dreamed. I can't promise you that this will be easy, Captain, Zara said softly, but I will help you. I'll help you understand it and help you control it if that's even possible. Lucas nodded. I knew you'd say that. I've seen it now. I see the future, Zara. I see humanity's place in the galaxy. It's not just survival, it's evolution.
Oh.
And I'm the first of many who will carry this power forward. The weight of his words hung in the air, as if the very fabric of reality had shifted around them. Lucas was no longer just a human astronaut who had crash-landed on an alien world. He was something more, something that transcended the limits of his species. And as he stood there, the power inside him thrumming with energy, Zara couldn't help but wonder if humanity was truly ready for the future that Lucas had unlocked. Let's take the first step together, then, Zara said, her voice steady. And we'll find out if humanity can handle what you've become. With that, the path ahead was clear. There was no going back now. The energy that had merged with Lucas was not just a force of nature, it was a force of destiny, and it had set the stage for humanity's next great leap. Whether humanity could control it or not, the journey had already begun. And in that journey, Lucas would be the first to lead the way.